Action. Okay. Yes, and we are here. Hello, everyone. Hello, nice to meet you all. Thank you very much for joining us. dxTechTalk from Devexperts is back. And today, I'm happy to announce that we have a special meetup dedicated to design topic. And here we have two beautiful speakers from the Devexperts team. Let me introduce you there, Daria Alekseeva and Vitaly Voronkin. Hi, guys. How are you today?
Hi, everyone. Good, thank you, Marina.
Okay. Vitaly, how are you?
Hey, guys. I'm great.
Cool. So be prepared. Soon we are going to start. I will just to remind you that we host such meetups on online and offline based regularly. You can follow us in social media. You can subscribe on us on Eventbrite or Meetup.com and join our community. We host dxTechTalk community and regular meetings since 2020, as far as I can remember, or even earlier. And we are gladly meet everyone in our locations, in Porto office, in Sofia, in Georgia, in Turkey. And we also happy to conduct such events on online basis. And as a Devexperts employees, we are happy to tell that this culture is supported by our company. We are eager to share our knowledge with everyone, and we are eager to invite you to join us. In order you would like to participate as a speaker, in order you would like to share your knowledge, your expertise in fintech, or in informational development, informational technologies overall. So please don't hesitate to contact us if you would like to be part of our community. And yeah, I see that we have guests already. And let's start in order to be precise with timing. Okay, and let me introduce our first speaker, Daria. Hi again. So Daria will tell us about design tokens and how to build an automated multi-brand system. As I can see from the description of your topic, you also would mention the aspect of collaboration between design team and the development team. Yes?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I also know that you used to be a developer. Is it correct?
Yeah, I used to work as a front-end developer, and I think sometimes it helps me a lot in my current design work.
All right. So based on your own experience, you would share some life hacks, how to collaborate properly. All right. So good luck to you, Daria. Let's start the first talk. Please share your screen and let's see how it looks. Okay, perfect. Dear guests, please don't hesitate to write your questions in the chat. After Daria's talk, we would be glad to read them and respond.
Okay, good. Thank you, Marina, again for your speech. And today I want to talk a little bit about building an automated multi-brand system. My name is Daria, and I'm junior interface designer at Devexperts. I've been working on creating a design system to support multiple projects in our company. Before I start about the main topic, let me tell you a bit about myself. Currently, I live in sunny Thailand, in love with mountains and incredible Jack Harlow songs. Today, I'll share insights on how to build an automated multi-brand system using design tokens. So let's get started. First, let's dive into the specific of our company and our starting point. In our design team, there are 18 people working on over 40 projects Monday to Friday. The total number of users exceeds 8 million people. The efficiency of developing any project increases with the introduction of a design system. In our case, the entire company can benefit from implementing a multi-project design system. So what is our background and the problems that led us to this decision? Let me share with you the communication barrier we faced. Designers and developers seldom spoke a common language, and when they did, it was more matter of a chance rather than a well-designed system. This lack of effective communication often led to complete misunderstanding on a daily basis. Starting to use design tokens to establish a shared language for both design and front-end development can indeed help ensure consistency across the teams. Working with numerous wide-level projects requires a fast and convenient restyling process. Implementing a design system could also greatly assist us with the multi-branding by providing consistent elements and guidelines. It will not only enhance customer satisfaction, but also facilitate the work of the whole design team. We also thought about the design system as a centralized repository for all our design assets, patterns, and guidelines to speed up the redesign process. To ensure the easy integration with the interface by users of all abilities, including those with disabilities, we have to consume accessibility requirements. Accessibility, the concept of making things easy to approach, reach, use, and understand. People with disabilities often use keyboard navigation to interact with the interface. What requirements can exist for a simple button? Okay, let's take a closer look. The contrast between the button's text and background color should meet AA or AAA standards to ensure readability for people with visual impairments. The size of every clickable element should be mouse-friendly. It means that the button should have a properly sized target to make it easy for users to interact with, especially for those with motor impairments. Remember to check the application of these standards for all button states. The design system allows you to create reusable, tested, and available solutions that meet these requirements. This approach streamlines the development process and promotes accessibility across all projects. So it's time to review our first preparations. After evaluating the labor costs, we decided not to create a design system from scratch, but use the existing one from one of our projects as a foundation. This project is significantly and rapidly growing, serving the basis for several other projects within the company. Despite these advantages, we identified numerous inconsistencies in the design system of this project that required resolution. We've got random component structure, we've got disorientated padding with this situation, we've got unnecessary color shades that are similar to each other. So yeah, refactoring was our starting point. During the process of refactoring, components were categorized based on their functionality. At some point, we realized that synchronizing Figma and Storybook, which our dev team uses for isolated testing, was satisfactory for our needs. It's time for a small vote. Please let us know in the chat which name for the component you see on the screen is most suitable and why. Expanded calendar or gray widget calendar. But meanwhile, I will discuss the significance of taking an abstract approach when it comes to naming. This enhances flexibility and understanding across various projects and contexts. And this is why I hope everyone who wanted to answer already did it. Imagine the same calendar component in a different project or even just in a live theme. By adopting an abstract approach in naming, we can ensure the component remains adaptable regardless of its context or appearance. So gray widget calendar is not gray anymore, as we can see, and it's probably can be used anywhere else except widget. I've already mentioned the variety of shades in this project. This was achieved throughout the use of the overlay system. This system proved to be a valuable tool for our designers, enabling them seamlessly integrate elements into the existing interface. Some components had a transparent background like this that helped in blending harmoniously with the application's background. Doesn't depend what color it is. Interaction state management is another way to use overlays. We used to add a partly transparent layer over primary default color to create a hover or pressed effects. Despite the convenience of this approach, its uncontrolled use led us to creation of many duplicates throughout the project. Almost 500 shades of white, more than 100 of black, and other colors were duplicated as well. Among other things, a complex nested structure negatively affected the performance of Figma file, which I will talk about later. But now, sometimes, individual designers' creative idea can ruin a consistency of the projects, and here's where the design system can help us. Hard months of working on the core design system finally led us to branch into independent unit and create our separate design system. This time, we wanted to take into account all potential mistakes right from the start. That's why we have to set up some base rules and workflows. As previously mentioned, we had a challenging experience with large Figma files, leading to significant loading times for individual pages and disruption in the branch system's functionality. Here are some tips to consider. First of all, hidden layers are a big contributor to memory usage. This is because Figma needs to store and render information about those layers, even they are not visible. Use Boolean properties to avoid this. Even though this method uses hidden layers as well, it reduces the number of variants and layers needed in design system. Next one is the number of components and variants can contribute the memory usage as well. You may still run into memory limits if you only have few component sets, but they have thousands of variants or something like this. If a library has a large number of variants or file is near to memory limit, consider using component properties to reduce the number of components and variants needed. Last but not least tip is to reduce memory usage, is to stick to the rule, one component, one page. Figma renders component page by page, and loading the entire file at once can indeed have some significant impact on performance. Another point regarding the organization of the file, I would recommend visually display the development status, so everyone involved can have a clear, shared understanding of where the project stands and what actions need to be taken. To effectively populate this file with the new components, we have developed a simple workflow process. After creating design specification and developing components tokens, the work moves to our accessibility specialists, who then creates a clean CSS. These two stages are my favorite. The beauty of synchronization we've achieved is evident here. We've established a ping-pong communication session allowing for seamless collaboration. On the next step, we provide the behavior of the components in any state it is capable of entering. This ensures that the interface behaves predictably under all conditions. Then we cover it with tests to ensure that the component works as it intended and it is user-friendly, stick to the design standards and our guidelines. And yeah, finally, release. Release means that other projects can finally employ and customize the components to fit their own style. But wait, is it all about manual and time-consuming redesign again? Buckle up, we've finally made it to design tokens. First of all, design tokens are the style values of UI elements such as color, typography, spacing, shadows, anything you can imagine. Almost everything in our system can be described by tokens. They're like building blocks of a design system. Think of them as subatoms, the smallest pieces of style values that allow designers to create styles for any product. Okay, let's take a look at the core primary 100, which represents the color yellow. Because the token uses name value concepts as a base, the same core primary 100 can also equals the blue and the green. Why not? Okay, what's next? How to use it, how to store, and how to organize these tokens. Remember all these clients' style guidelines? This is exactly what should be described on the top global level of tokens. The core layer describes foundational design tokens. These tokens form the essential building blocks that set the overall visual identity of the brand. The next semantic layer, meanwhile, includes design tokens that carry meaningful specific context information. In this layer, the designer is able to describe important dependencies, such as using the same styling properties across all primary components. Last, but definitely not least, the component layer, which consists of design tokens that are directed to individual component or UI elements. These tokens define the specific styles and behavior of the components. This layer of token is an exact representation of how components is described in the code. I'd say it again, full mutual understanding. The component token itself no longer inherits anything, but equals to a specific value. Organizing design tokens into free level leads to clear inheritance and functional separation. By the way, you might already notice that the name of the token depends on the layer they belong to. For example, core tokens start with the core, starts with the core keywords, semantic tokens use theme prefix, and component tokens, begins with the specific component name, such as buttons, which include, This naming convention helps in easily identify and organize the token based on the functionality. Continuing to build the topic of the design tokens naming, I would say that it is important to clear and consistent approach for each element. The name of each token is made up of specific parts, can only have a limited number of values. For instance, interaction states have a predefined set of specific states that component can have. Default, hovered, pressed, selected, active, etc. Once you know the parts that make up the token name, you can start arranging them. We recommend set a clear order suitable for specific your design system in which these puzzles can place next to each other. The result of such an approach in token naming is complete synchronization with the developers and the code. Formulating rules can take time, effort. You don't have to follow a clear rule instructions. Just observe a gentle, accepted concepts and formulate something unique for yourself that suits your specific. But is the process even worth it? Okay, let me show you some magic. This is the result of a properly organized token structure. In just a few clicks, I can apply 3 complete different style guides to the same reliable and accessible components. Moreover, design tokens enable you to construct formulas, even implement some math logic. For instance, adjust the border radius throughout the entire project. All it takes is to modify only one scale variable. This scale goes down to all those 3 levels of tokens we've just built and creates dependency for each border radius of component elements and etc. In conclusion, I'd like to once again go through the key steps that need to be taken to build multi-brand design system yourself. Step 1, analyze the brand identities and identify the similarities among your project. Go through the design specification and highlight all reusable components. Then count how many projects each component appears in and delete those that are unique to only one project. Voila, you now have a list of components to develop in prioritized order. Naming convention is step 2. And actually other foundational rules to establish from the beginning. Remember that names should turn out modular, short, consistent, meaningful, and easy to understand, even for those who is not directly involved to the project. Dividing tokens into 3 layers is a widely used and common categorization method. We highly recommend you implementing core, semantic, and component layers in your design system for easy and more organized management. Nevertheless, you have the flexibility to employ a different naming logic as long as it remains understandable to others. Once the framework of your design system is finally defined, it's essential to start populating it by adding components one by one. Start with the most commonly used atomic components and gradually progress to more complex ones. Don't forget to establish smooth workflow process that includes components testing and grooming. It's really important. Don't be afraid to tokenize all the styling feature of the components. That's actually exactly what you have to do. I think project teams will thank you later for that. The last thing I would like to pay attention is to the available tools that can significantly improve your work in building and maintaining design systems. For instance, using Token Studio plugin can be beneficial for creating and managing tokens. Additionally, Storybook is an excellent choice for isolated component testing, while Zero Hate and Supernova serves as a great examples of documentation platforms for design systems. Nevertheless, you can choose something different, or you can build your documentation repository or something like this just by your own, depending on the abilities you've got. Well, thank you all for joining me today. Together, we've witnessed the transformational power of well-crafted design system and benefits it brings to our projects. I do hope we made some important insights for yourself. And now I welcome any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daria. It was a pleasure to get to know more about the systems. Brief out. We have a couple of questions already. Let me start maybe with the one from Ilya, because it's related directly to the presentation.
Mhm.
Do you see the chat, or should I read for you?
No, I don't see chat.
Alrighty. So, could you please clarify, probably one more time, the point about equality of one component and one page? Because it wasn't clear of speech. And could you please clarify this aspect one more time?
Yeah, I think I shouldn't find this slide, but if I started, let me find it. So basically, just because Figma renders page by page, if you, okay, forget about it. If you store all contact, all design specs just in one page, it means that Figma needs to render it just at once. While in design system, it's a good approach to separate specs to different pages. Meaning open just one page that describes two specs is easier than open one Figma file that describes hundreds of specs. So I think it's become clear. I don't know. At least I tried.
Yes, we're waiting for some reaction in chat in order to understand was it clear or not. We also have one question, and here maybe I can help you to answer in case you don't know. The question is about, are there any commercial projects where this system is already used?
Meaning our design system.
I believe so. That I can tell from the Devexperts perspective. I know at least two commercial projects where this system currently uses. And we also use such a system for internal projects within the company. So this, what I can tell definitely from my side. Maybe you can add something as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And our managers, team leads are working every day to establish some communications with other projects. So our design system can make benefits to other commercial projects as well. But yeah, we've just started, so it's not probably a big amount for somebody, but it's really good start and showing a good progress.
Thank you so much. And by the way, the follow-up question, can you recommend a good course on design system? So how can you study this?
That's quite a good question, because I've been asking it myself for a long time, and what I came up with is that most of the design system courses are super basic and they do not cover all these token systems, but there are lots of meetups, conferring like this, where you can just watch and listen other people's experience and decide whether it's good or not for your specific case. So unfortunately, I can't recommend it as something specifically, but you can find some interesting things in the internet.
All right. And nice questions regarding the system itself. How long did it took to build the system, and how many designers were involved?
So as I've already said, we've started with the refactoring of another design system that's in the end became a base of our separate design system. And this refactoring, as I remember, took about half a year or something like this. It was like really difficult process, but absolutely important. And after that, we finally branched. And I think half a year again to maintain the design system on the level we've got right now.
How many people were involved into
Yeah, right, sorry. Well, we've started with quite a small team. It was just me from design team and one actively collaborated developer. And after that, we've started to grow, especially in the front-end part, but from design side, it's still just me and my beautiful colleagues that help me every day to answer some questions about their projects so I can understand better how their projects works, so I can reuse it in our design system as well. So yeah, I think that's
okay, this is quite interesting experience. And moreover, I see that we do have a request for a workshop from you about this system with examples, how to work with components and with themes. Just you can consider it for future. And also, there is a question, can we share your profile of LinkedIn?
right.
For some consultations. Yeah, so this is the nice question. And speaking about the workshop and some further communication regarding this, I see the interest and we can consider such a project. Why not? We need some time to prepare, but it looks curious. At least we can try to prepare something like that. I cannot guarantee currently, but it's a nice way to discuss. Yeah, and speaking about the profile, up to you, Daria, if you would like to share and consult guys regarding the system.
I think that would be a great experience for me. Of course, I can't prepare just like right now or in a few days, and we need to think about it and about the organization process as well. But as from my side, yeah, it's an amazing experience and I'd like to attend.
All right, so deal. We can share some links later. Thank you very much for request. It's very valuable and it's a pressure that you're interested in this topic. I also have questions regarding preferences. Do you prefer Figma to work, yes, to prototype and overall to use, you prefer to use Figma for your tasks? At least twice we have this question.
Yeah, if we're talking about design specs, it's all about Figma. It's a powerful tool that helps lots of designers to work, and I'm quite good with it, especially the latest Figma updates give us variables that is basically the same tokens, but not in the third-party plugin, but in Figma itself. It is still in beta version, and we are waiting to this update to release, but the one thing that it says that Figma is very powerful and powerful tool that can help us in the future to manage design tokens just from the box. So yeah, I vote for Figma, but it doesn't mean that you can't use any other tools.
Okay, thank you so much. I don't have any other questions currently. So, colleagues, if you would like to ask something else, you can proceed to send these questions in chat and we can also ask them after the second presentation. But I'm happy to finish with Figma topic because our next talk would be dedicated to Figma. So thank you, Daria, and please stay with us. And I would like to introduce the second speaker today, Vitaly. Hello again, are you here?
Yep, hi again.
Hi again. So, speaking about Figma, this is your topic currently, yes? And you will tell us how to build the first Figma plugin.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I think that we will discuss like several approaches, right? From traditional development to some AI technologists.
Yeah, my presentation has two parts. So one is how you can build plugin with a developer and by yourself with the help of ChatGPT.
Oh my God. Okay. Are you afraid that ChatGPT would take your job in future? Tell me.
Actually, no, because it's mostly like a tool you can use to help you just work faster and more efficiently, not
Okay.
some standalone AI.
Just stay professional and keep calm. Okay. So Vitaly, please share your screen. Good luck to you with the presentation. Colleagues, please send your questions in the chat. And let's go.
Yeah, so I'll be talking about how to build your first Figma plugin. I've been working at Devexperts for more than 2 years, participated in 3 different fintech projects, and in creation of 2 internal Figma plugins. And for the last couple of months, I'm working on the improving design process, automating Figma where it's possible, and creating plugins for my project. And that's actually how this presentation started. So in this presentation, we will talk about how to build plugin with developer team. What ways do we have to speed up this process? How to build a plugin solo with ChatGPT, where to start, some tips and tricks from my own experience, and at the end, I will provide you with a list of some links to resources which you can find useful. So I believe most of you are designers, and I believe most of you are working in Figma, which is no surprise because Figma is great, especially with the last year update. And working on the Figma projects, it usually results in design files with huge library of components, UI kits, tokens, styles, and so on. And managing all of this is very hard and even sometimes not possible with the stock Figma functionality. And that's actually what Figma plugins are for. They allow us to build some extra functionality on top of the Figma, and this functionality can be very customized for your specific process or approach. So let's imagine this. You found yourself in a situation where you have a problem and you can't fix it with stock Figma. There is no plugin, there is no third-party solution with functionality you need. And in that case, you can just build a plugin yourself. And the most obvious option you have is to work with a developer or even development team at your company to create a plugin. And this is exactly what we did a year ago for our project. And just as an example, let me briefly introduce you to our problem. So at Devexperts, I'm working on a trading platform for brokers, and we make a lot of white labels, which basically means that we are selling the same product to multiple clients, but for every client, we make it look unique. We have a master file in Figma with all the designs and components, and we use a lot of color styles since it's a very customizable solution. We have a plugin that exports all the styles to the web storage where developers can access it and can deliver it to the actual product. And the problem we had is, you can see it on this GIF. It's in Figma, it takes a lot of clicks, a lot of time to just change even one color style. And we have like 600 of them in our main file. So the plan was to create a plugin which will speed up this process and will make it less painful, basically. And the idea for plugin was very basic. You just select some mockup in Figma. The plugin shows you a list of color styles used there, and you can change the color and see how it looks directly in the mockups in real time. I'm not going to tell you the full story on how we built it because it's like the basic approach when you have a scope of features and you prepare the requirements and the design specification for every feature and hand off this to developer, but we have a dedicated cycle of articles on the Medium, and you can check it there. All the links will be at the end of the presentation, so hold tight. Yeah, and this is just a little demo how it works. So you just select the design mockup. You can see plugin provides you with a list of color styles, and currently it's sorted by hue. So you can just select one main color, for example, and just change it in a matter of seconds to some other. And basically in 20 seconds, you have a completely different color theme. Plugin development obviously takes a long time. And how we can make this process easier? The first thing to mention here is building from scratch is hard. And I'm sure you agree with me because it applies to any type of work. And developers also aware of this problem. And to be productive from the start, they use templates. And you can also use templates for Figma plugin to kickstart the whole development process. And there are quite a lot of them on GitHub, and I'll share some of them with you as well. You can also use UI kit if your plugin have a UI. So you can just go to the Figma community and you can find some UI kits there. And that's basically what we did. We just took some Figma file with already UI kit and built the plugin UI from it. Yeah, and while having a template is helpful, you can actually go further and use an open source plugin as a foundation for your plugin or just as a code reference. You will have working plugins with the ability to look at the code and see how it works under the hood. And for example, this screenshot is actually a website of a developer who built and shared multiple plugins to help other developers, and you can use it as well. So working back to back with developers allows you to build complex things and make sure the quality is on point, and you less likely to stumble across some critical bugs or errors of any kind. Of course, it takes time and money, but you still can speed up this process, which is a good thing. But what if you don't have any developer who can help you with the plugin? In that case, the only way left is just to build it yourself, and you can use ChatGPT for it. You all know what ChatGPT is. I bet you've been hearing a lot about it, and we can use ChatGPT to write a code for our plugin. And here is a small disclaimer from me. All the information here is based on my own experience, and this part of the presentation suitable for people who have zero coding experience and do not know how Figma works under the hood. So it will be beneficial basically for everyone. To start, you don't need much. You just need a Visual Studio for coding, Figma app for testing your plugin, and ChatGPT Plus to access GPT-4, as it's the most advanced and the latest model available right now. And the first thing I encourage you to do is to check out this course made by Figma. It's called Building Your First Plugin as well. And it will guide you through the process of installing the required software, creating a project, setting up the environment, and even publishing your plugin in Figma community. It will not teach you how to code this plugin, but it will teach you a lot of other things. And once you are ready to go, you can just write your first prompt to ChatGPT. You don't need any technical knowledge. You can just describe what you want to achieve with your plugin in plain English, and it will provide you with some script for it. And this is how my first prompt looked like. I just wrote that I need you to create a TypeScript code for Figma plugin. I already have config files generated by Figma. Just take the instructions and make a TypeScript code out of it. And for ChatGPT, my idea of plugin was to build a plugin which will convert remote styles to local styles in Figma because we are working with white label a lot. And it's a very common case for us when we just move the designs from one file to another. And to be able to work with these styles, we just need to convert them to local. Yeah, and this plugin is very basic actually, and it doesn't require any UI. So what we need to do is to explain the functionality of your plugin in plain English to ChatGPT, and the more detailed it will be, the better. And the short version of my plugin logic looked like this. So it has two modes, and if the selection is made in Figma and you run the plugin, it will check the selection and convert all the remote styles to local. And if there is no selection made in Figma, it will just scan the whole current page in Figma and convert all the remote styles to local. And the golden rule here is to not overcomplicate. Just build the minimal version of your plugin with just only one main basic function, and then test if it's working as intended, of course, and just step by step add the functionality to it. And this is how my approach worked. So I had like 4 different stages. So the first update I did to the plugin is I asked ChatGPT to convert also strokes and effect styles, not only color styles. Then I added the check to check if there are local styles that has the same name as a remote style. So in that case, it will just reassign the remote style to the local one instead of creating the duplicate. The third one was the just notification to keep user informed that the plugin is working. And the last one was actually a fix that I applied to plugin to make it work better, because there was a certain case when it wasn't working properly. So yeah, and it's important to understand that ChatGPT is not ideal. It will make a lot of mistakes. So you should check every step carefully, and don't hesitate to regenerate the invalid response or even to roll back to the previous version if something is not working for you. And if your generated code have some errors, that's actually okay. And you just need to send to the ChatGPT the line with an error and the description of an error, and it will fix it for you. Yeah, and when you're asking ChatGPT to provide some update to the code, it can send you only part of the code. And if you don't understand where to put it, you can just ask for the complete code and copy paste it to the Visual Studio to make it easier for you. And also ChatGPT has a token limitation, which is basically means that after some amount of prompts, it will start to forget your data that you feed to them, and it can make it cause more errors in the code. And so what I did in this case, I just took the last working code that I had for my plugin, and I just sent it to the ChatGPT. I said to forget the code about, just use this actual version, review it, and let's continue with this. It's actually helped me a lot. Yeah, and if your plugin doesn't work as intended, you can just ask ChatGPT to add the comments to code to be able to understand what this code does, to navigate in it easier. And you can also ask to add the logs to every action plugin does. So you can just take this new version to the Figma and just run it and check what plugin actually does and where can be the problem. Yeah, you can also ask ChatGPT for optimization. Just ask it like what can be done to make plugin work faster, and it will offer you some options that you have, and you will be able to try it. And one more important thing to mention here is the more you know, the better. If you have any coding experience, it will be a lot easier for you to understand what's happening. And same goes for the Figma API. If you are familiar with it, it will make your life way easier. And yeah, at first you can rely completely on ChatGPT, but ultimately it will be very beneficial for you to understand how Figma works, how Figma API works, and it will just enable you to build more complex stuff in less of time. And if you want to learn it, so where do you start? The most obvious option is to just check the Figma API documentation, but it's not an optimal way for the complete beginner who doesn't know how to code, don't have any like basic understanding of it. So in this case, you can just ask ChatGPT how certain things works, or even better, you can use this plugin, which is called Figlet, and you can find it in Figma community. And this plugin is actually a playground where you can just write some code, run it directly in Figma, and see how it works. And it also offers you with some code samples created by other users, and you can try it out as well. So it's just a more fun and interactive way to learn how Figma works under the hood. And you can actually combine all these three methods for more efficient learning. You can just check the Figma API documentation for reference. You can play around with code with Figlet plugin. And if you don't understand something, you can just use ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT, and it will explain it to you. And this is the quick demo of the plugin I have built with ChatGPT. So you can see there are a lot of local styles already in the file. And I just run a plugin, and it will convert all the styles to local. And you can see that the design is changed, the colors is changed because of the conversion. Yeah, and the last thing worth mentioning here is the AI keeps evolving faster than I can update my presentation, and new features arise every day, and it's really hard to keep up with that. So just keep in mind that if you can do something today, it doesn't mean that it won't be possible tomorrow. And that's the end of my presentation. I hope you learned something valuable today. And as promised, there is a QR code. You can scan it and just go to the Notion page where I collected some useful resources for you to start your journey of building your first Figma plugin. That's all from me. So if you have any questions, guys.
Wow, that was fast. Thank you, Vitaly. Probably I suggest you turn back the previous page in order people have time to scan your personal recommendations. Okay, please, guys, don't hesitate. It should be very handy. And I also ask you, please write your questions in the chat. I have a couple of comments regarding ChatGPT and how helpful is it for work, but no particular questions so far. So let's wait a little bit. Please ask. And yep. So Vitaly, I know that you're interested in Figma, but also that I found curious in your just like your bio description that you're also keen on music.
Yeah, I've been producing music for like 5 years. Still not so good enough in it, but yeah.
Okay, so that's quite a creative personality, but at the same time, as far as you know, design requires some engineering way of thinking. So how do you combine all these qualities?
You know, it's actually not the very different process, like writing music, because I don't like record the real instruments and just combine it to some song. I just write music on my computer. So it's basically the same process where you just can work on some draft, add some, make some basis, some idea, and then you just keep working on it, iterating on it to build something valuable from it. And there are actually a lot of, techniques you can use in both design and music production, which is like very fundamental, I'll say. So it's like in the design, you have, for example, a third dimension. You can just use shadows to elevate the element from the canvas. So it's kind of like 3D.
Wow.
Yeah. And in music, you have for it reverberation, so like echoes. So it just makes music sound like it's in some big space.
Okay, there is something that I know a little and very curious to discuss this topic. Maybe next time we can dedicate some talk to collaboration between two bridges between different areas such as music, production, design, engineering, and all together. Right now it's quite popular topics to reveal art through technologies. Thank you so much for this short comment. I don't have any particular questions regarding the topic. I assume it was understandable. Okay. I will wait one more minute in order to give time to audience to share questions if there are any. Thank you very much for your talk. I can remind everyone that if you would have questions in future or you would like to contact our speakers or our team, you can subscribe on us, for example, on Instagram, because design team has their own Instagram with a lot of cases, case studies, examples, and tips. Please don't be shy. Visit the page. We will share it in a minute in the chat. And also you can subscribe on Devexperts Global Official channel, where we share all announcements on our future and current meetups. We also share some insights from our lifestyle, and you can follow us and track some events. Also join offline or online. Let me then share in the chat all necessary links. So here is it. Second. Yeah, please subscribe. This is the Instagrams, and you can find us on LinkedIn. You can find nice cases on Behance from the design team. And please subscribe on YouTube. We, from time to time, upload some videos from our internal presentations and knowledge sharing events. And also soon, starting September, we will have such online and offline events regularly, and we will be happy to see you among our guests. Yes, for now, this is it. Thank you very much. Can you stop sharing your screen, please?
Yep,
yes,
sure.
And one more time, I would like to thank our speakers, Vitaly and Daria. It was great. Congratulations with your first dxTechTalk, and I hope to see you soon on next editions. Oh my God. And we have one question. Yeah, that's why it's important to wait. Okay, before we go, Vitaly, how much time required to learn complete UI UX? It's not completely related to the topic of your presentation, but it's curious. Consider your experience in your way. Can you comment?
Yeah, it's actually heavily depends on the person, I think, and on your background. For me, it took like 6 months, I guess, to learn some basics and start working.
6 months. Okay,
Yeah.
this sounds fast. Okay, and before UX UI career, what was your passion? So what did you do?
I was studying in the university on the technical degree, so nothing actually,
No passion, just studying.
nothing related to design, for example, but
Okay. All right. So yes, this recording will be saved on our channel. That's the question about can people see it one more time? Of course, you can watch it one more time. It will be saved, and also you can check the all playlists on current channel and find our previous editions. Please use it, share it. We are happy to share our knowledge, and we are happy to invite you in our community. And this is it. So let's go. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening. Have a good night. Good luck, and see you next time.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
Marina. Amazing host. Good night.